and fear like it once had. It just made me dull and paranoid. Running from myself. At that point, I decided to seek out harder drugs, and it was definitely a conscious choice. I was desperate to find something that gave me the same sense of relief pot had once given me. I felt like I couldn't exist without drugs. I tried everything: hallucinogens, prescription drugs like Vicodin and OxyContin, ecstasy, cocaine. I kept chasing that more confident and strong version of myself who felt less alone. Sometimes the drugs would work for a while, but then the feeling would slip away again. It wasn't until I tried crystal meth that I thought I'd finally found the one. Now, thanks mostly to Breaking Bad, a TV show about a high school chemistry teacher who became a meth cook, everybody's heard of crystal meth and knows how dangerous it is. But back in the late 90s, when I first did it, I had never heard of it. So when my friend offered me some speed, also known as meth, I took it without thinking. As soon as that drug hit me, I felt a rush of elation. Not just from the drug, but from feeling like this was what I'd been looking for my whole life. It was better than those first hits of pot, better than everything. I felt super confident, super strong. I felt like a real-life superhero. Just like that, I was addicted. Once I started doing crystal meth, my life spiraled out of control in a flash. Meth made me arrogant, crazy, and fixated on more. I was like an animal, reduced to one need: to get high. Nothing else mattered. I broke into houses, stole money. I even stole from my little brother's piggy bank. My parents kicked me out of the house. I ended up homeless, living in a park in San Francisco. I ate out of garbage cans, got food from soup kitchens. I did things I'd never imagined doing to get money, and I kept using. I couldn't stop. Until I had a really bad scare. I woke up in the hospital with a tube down my throat, having been on life support after an overdose. Terrified, I went into rehab and managed to stay sober for 1.5 years. Only I had never learned how to live sober. I was a complete emotional mess. The one thing that maybe saved my life is that I wrote. I come from a family of writers and have written ever since I was little. Even strung out and living on the streets, I wrote. I'd cram into the back of some burned-out car with other kids and stay up all night, writing in my notebook while they slept, trying to get my story down, to make sense of the chaos of my life. I wrote when I was sober, too, and miraculously I connected with this editor at a publishing house who felt I had a story to tell. I'd write chapters, and she'd like them and ask for more. Eventually, I got a book deal. At the time, it felt to me that writing a book would make my whole life worthwhile. So I finished about half of it, and I received a small chunk of money that felt like a huge chunk of money. I felt on top of things for the first time in forever. It all falls apart. I'd been sober for about 18 months when I got involved with this older woman I'd known from being in treatment with her. She was super beautiful and super cool, the ex-wife of a famous actor. I felt that if she could love and want me, it had to mean I was worth something. My entire identity became wrapped up in my book and in my girlfriend. Of course, it turned out she was using again and lying to everyone about being sober. She smoked crack, so I started smoking crack too. I felt like I had to, so we could be together. Like it had to be the two of us, sharing this secret little world. It became the only thing that mattered to me. That led me down a dark hole into the worst drug binge of my life. We started doing not just crack, but heroin and meth too. I kept having convulsions from smoking so much coke. Even when I almost lost my arm from an abscess caused by shooting drugs, I kept using. I couldn't stop. The meth made us both crazy. Once I went into the bathroom to find her ripping out the tiles,